here. Okay, then. Hi, everyone, once again. Hi, Emilia. It's our honor here once again to welcome you here in this session. If you don't mind, please let me share my screen so that I can use the presentation to introduce you to our audience today. Just a second, please. Okay, I hope you see my presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, today we will talk about fraud and corruption for academic integrity policies PhD course that we are having at Çanakkale 18 Mart University in Turkey. And we are very happy to welcome Dr. Emilia Sercan here with us today. He is joining us from Romania, from the University of Bucharest. Before I leave word to her, I'd like to briefly inform you about what we are supposed to be talking today. Indeed, I'd like to remind you the roots of the corruption and the consequences of academic fraud here. And Emilia is here today as a whistleblower. So she will be a real sample of the importance of whistleblowing in the community. And I'll refer to some other forms of academic misconduct, such as competitive plagiarism, exploitation, and then I'll leave the word to Emilia because she will expand and provide some samples to these issues. Then, who is Dr. Emilia Sercan? Indeed, she's a journalist, although she is today joining us from the University of Bucharest. Indeed, she is an investigative journalist with 24 years of experience, and she is working at the Department of Journalism and Communication Science Department at the University of Bucharest. She is a senior lecturer there. Indeed, her research interest is within two directions, one dealing with censorship in the communist newspaper, the other one dealing with academic integrity. We see that her doctoral dissertation is dealing with censorship mechanisms, and she also published a book in 2017 relating to Doctorate's factory. I believe she will refer to this book throughout her presentation. We learned that she has earned several grants in order to visit the other universities. For example, she received 2 grants to be in the United States, and one for France, one for Athens in Greece, and the other one for Spain. So she is not only working at her institution, but she is collaborating with the other countries and with the other international organizations on this matter. I'd like to also refer to some awards that she received so far, and I am so happy to name her as INAI Award winner in 2019, but it was not the only one that she received. Indeed, she received her first award in 2016. Indeed, she received 2 in 2016, one as the Journalist of the Year and the other one as the Prize for Freedom of Expression. And then another one for 2016. So 2016, full of awards for her. Prize for Journalism, another prize for journalism. And then in 2017, she received the award of Professor of the Year. And then she received the prize for Nicola Large of the Romanian Society of Historical Sciences. She received INAI Academic Integrity Award in 2019, and 2020, she received Social Dialogue Group Award. I'm not sure whether there are any new awards after our last meeting. Emilia, if you have, please inform us. Now, my students are familiar with this graph because at the very beginning of the semester, we talk about the importance of preventing academic misconduct, such as cheating, for example. If we do not pay attention, then because we believe that such academic misconduct will become bigger problems, such as cheating becoming deception, deception becoming fraud, and fraud becoming corruption. And here we will try to see how we can prevent this process happening. So, of course, it is better to prevent it at the very beginning. It's not that difficult to prevent cheating, but it becomes a bit more difficult for us to prevent deception and go back from deception level to the normal level. And it will be more difficult when it comes to fraud level. And if there is corruption, then it will be really difficult for us to go back to our normal lives, because it will take quite a lot of time. Here in this session, we are specifically focusing on dealing with fraud and corruption. Indeed, they may not sound positive for us, because in this course we'd like to promote academic integrity. However, anyway, misconduct also appears as an important component of academic integrity, and we need to be very careful about types of academic misconduct and prevent them from the very beginning. Then what do we mean by academic misconduct? And here we are referring to fraud. I'd like to define these two key terminologies for us here. The definitions will be coming from the Inaya dictionary here. Misconduct is defined as any action or attempted action that undermines academic integrity and may result in an unfair academic advantage or disadvantage for any member of the academic community or wider society. So indeed, for academic misconduct, we are referring to an action or attempted action. But when it comes to academic fraud, this time we are referring to actions. Actions that are intended to deceive for unfair advantage by violating academic integrity regulations. Indeed, these two terms are quite similar to each other. However, when we talk about academic fraud, it means that we are talking about a more general, a bigger issue. And when we check, when we have a quick Google check, for example, relating to these issues, misconduct issues, we realize that there are quite a lot incidents that Google listing for us. I borrowed only a few of them here, maybe the most popular ones, to attract your attention to the incidents at the international level. But my intention here, by referring to the names of the countries or some people, we are not trying to blame people or countries here. Indeed, with reference to these diverse examples, we are trying to indicate that academic misconduct or any misconduct, they happen anywhere, all over the world, globally. You see nothing from Turkey here. It doesn't necessarily mean that we don't have any incidents in Turkey. Here I specifically borrowed excerpts in Turkish. These are maybe some of the famous incidents relating to academic misconduct, popular on our media. I borrowed some incidents here. So in general, we can say that academic misconduct may happen anywhere. The important thing, what happens in the case of academic misconduct? Are there any whistleblowers? So preventing them to occur once again in the future, and trying to regulate the issues with reference to by the help of some policies, well-developed policies, or do we disregard them? So it makes the difference here. So whistleblowing might be a new term for some of us, but indeed we have an example, Emilia example here. She is a real whistleblower. What does it mean? Here is the definition, again from IE dictionary, a glossary. Making a disclosure in the public interest by an internal or external person in an attempt to reveal neglect or abuses within the activities of an organization or its partners that threaten individuals, standards, quality, integrity, or reputation. Suppose, for example, I see a colleague involved in academic misconduct. So in order to prevent such misconduct, I make it known publicly. Secondly, reporting irresponsible research practices. So it is another related terminology here. As we already know, academic integrity policies, they do not only cover educational, cover the policies from the educational perspective. Instead, if you are talking about universities, universities also have research mission, both education and research mission. So whistleblowing should also be available in the case of any irresponsible practices relating to research. On the other hand, we will be also referring to anti-whistleblowers. These people are the individuals who are not reporting suspected actions, or such people, on the other hand, might be preventing others from reporting. Again, these will be important terminologies. Now, I know it very well that Emilia Sercan made a difference. Then she should have some information from the very first hand to share with us. But here, with reference to the relevant literature, what can I say to make the difference? We need corroboration from peers, corroboration by government agencies, and congressional support, since the citation is coming from the United States. We are referring to congressional support, but we can relate it with any government agency here. Media support, solidarity from NGOs. So NGOs are quite important as well here, in addition to government agencies, and litigation. So these are important strategies which will help you make a difference. What happens if we disregard the consequences of academic fraud or academic misconduct? Now, last year, when Emilia joined us for this session here, again, I referred to Retraction Watch, and today I revised the numbers from Retraction Watch. Last year, the retracted papers relating to COVID-19, the number was about 43 or something like this. And this year, I'm reporting it as 203. So it means that within a year, it becomes 5 times bigger. What does it mean? So we have been living in the COVID era almost less than 2 years. And within 2 years, we see that in the literature, many papers relating to COVID-19 were published, and 203 of them were retracted because of poor methodology or anything wrong was with them. But think about the policies that we are following relating to medical purposes. We are changing the policies. Medical professionals, they are revising policies, nationwide policies, in order to prevent this epidemic, but with reference to these papers. So you can see the vital impact of being honest in academia. And I'll refer to a few more terminologies and then leave it to Emilia. One is competitive plagiarism. What do we mean by plagiarism? So far, we accentuated plagiarism simply borrowing expressions or ideas from other people without acknowledging them. However, this time we have a different issue here. Suppose, for example, I am invited as a reviewer for a paper submitted to a journal, and I read the paper. I realize an original idea in the paper, and I note this idea, and then use this idea in my own paper because it's an original idea. However, while reviewing the paper, I reject this paper because of poor academic merits, for example. But publish the idea myself, the original idea myself. Then it is something, this sample is related to competitive plagiarism. Therefore, we couldn't restrict plagiarism with only student assignments. Plagiarism may happen anywhere involving anyone. And secondly, the second terminology here I'll be referring to exploitation, and which is mainly related to research assistants and graduate students. Let's call them as early career researchers, if you like. Suppose, for example, I have several students enrolled in this class. Let me ask them, for example, to write research papers, and then I add my name to their research papers without any contribution to their papers. Even I can add my name as the corresponding author, as the first author, principal author to their papers. I can remove their names from the paper since they are students. Unfortunately, we still see such samples. They are happening. We will be considering this as exploitation of early career researchers by senior researchers then. And the last thing that I will refer, plagiarism tactics. So plagiarizers, especially professional plagiarizers, they benefit from some tactics, some strategies. What are they? First, cover up the action. Second, devalue the target. Third, reinterpret the action by lying, minimizing consequences, blaming others, or reframing the action in a positive way. Four, use official channels that give an appearance of justice. And finally, intimidate or reward critics. I'm sure these tactics seem very familiar to you. Now, I'd like to thank Emilia Sercan once again for being here today with us. And I'd like to leave the floor to you, Emilia. I stop sharing.
Thank you so much. And I will share my screen. I hope you can see now my presentation. Just a second. Okay. Well, I'm proposing you to speak about corruption and fraud in doctoral system in Romania. I also want to speak a bit about plagiarism network. This is a concept that I am trying to create it and to explain it to you, because I really think that we have some special special connections between people, system, networks that can constitute this concept of plagiarism network, of course, and I will refer to academic corruption. Salim told you already that I am a whistleblower, and I'm an investigative journalist specialized in discovering and exposing plagiarism in doctoral dissertation and also academic fraud. I'm doing this starting with 2015, so I already have almost 7 years. By doing just investigations about journalistic investigations about academic integrity and especially plagiarism. I published until now 130 articles. 33 of them were about special cases of plagiarism or self-plagiarism cases. Most of them in PhD thesis. And after I wrote about these cases, 15 doctoral titles were permanently withdrawn by institution by an institution that is special, is habilitated by the Romanian government to do this, because we here in Romania have a centralized system, and the Minister of Education is the one that is granting a doctoral title, and also the Minister of Education is the institution that is withdrawing a doctoral title if that title is a subject of a plagiarism accusation. My presentation today will speak about some case studies. One of them are pretty well known, and Salim already put it, the one of Victor Ponta, who was former prime minister in Romania, and basically his case was a 0.0 in Romania related with academic misconduct and academic plagiarism. And of course, I will speak about academic corruption, because unfortunately we have so many cases here. But I propose you to start asking ourselves why a PhD matter, why a doctoral dissertation matter. A doctoral degree, as you know, is the highest academic qualification university or a research institution can provide. And a doctoral degree can bring a university career to a person, prestige, or other types of social aspirations, such as political, governmental, or even corporative position. And here in Romania, we have many positions that are requiring a doctoral degree. So it is included in different provisions of some laws from a different governmental or public position. So for some people, it's very important to have a doctoral degree, to obtain a doctoral degree. We have in Europe in last 10, 15 years, many plagiarism scandals, and many top-level politicians were accused of plagiarism in their doctoral dissertations. And probably one of the well-known case is the one of the former Minister of Defense in Germany, Karl Theodor zu Guttenberg, who resigned in 2011 after he was accused of plagiarism in his thesis granted in in law. And another case, very well-known case is the one of Hungarian president Paul Schmidt, who plagiarized in his doctoral dissertation in physical education. And he also resigned in 2012. Another case is the one of former Minister of Education in Germany, Annette Schavan, who was very close. She was a very close friend of Angela Merkel. She also resigned in 2013. And I also put here a case of a very preeminent politician, Pedro Sanchez, former Spanish prime minister, who was accused in his doctoral dissertation in economics in 2018, and he did not resign. Well, many politicians resigned after they were accused of plagiarism in their doctoral dissertations, and some not. And I also want to present the case of our former Prime Minister, Victor Ponta, who did not resign after he was involved in, as I told you before, the most well-known case of plagiarism case in Romania. And probably this case can be considered the point zero of starting a public discussion about plagiarism and academic integrity in Romania. Before 2012, I don't remember to see any case of plagiarism, let's say, well, we have some, but there were almost non-existent. Basically, the academic plagiarism was almost non-existent in public space in Romania. So media didn't used to cover this kind of subject. It was not very trendy to expose these cases. And but starting with June 2012, when the case of former prime minister, of the prime minister in charge at that moment, Victor Ponta, broke in Nature magazine. I think it was pretty important that that case was not exposed by Romanian media, because I am thinking that because the case was exposed by Nature magazine, you know very well that is one of the most prestigious scientific journals in the whole world. Probably the case didn't had the opportunity to change so many things in the Romanian society. I think it was pretty important that the case was exposed in outside of the country, and in such a very well-known academic scientific journal. Sorry, this is the article published at that moment. Well, in Romania, I can tell you that it was like a big earthquake. It was the whole society was very shaken by this revealing of his plagiarism case. Well, in the first moment, he said that he will resign if an institutional commission of the Romanian state will considered that he plagiarized in his doctoral dissertation. What happened? Well, it's a long way, let's say, from the moment when the accusation broke in Nature magazine until the moment the case ended up. And well, he didn't resign, but he just tried to make the things, because he had the political power, he tried to make the things as well as he didn't received a plagiarism verdict, so his doctoral title was not withdrawn as long as he was in the position of prime minister. Well, there were some consequences, and the most important one was the fact that the Minister of Education abolished the commission that uncovered the plagiarism in Victor Ponta's dissertation exactly in the moment that the commission had the meeting for discussing the plagiarism accusation. So you can imagine how it was. In that day, the commission met in an official. It was the official meeting of the commission, and the Minister of Education just signed an order to abolish that commission, and another commission was empowered to uncover the plagiarism in all doctoral dissertation, but that commission was a political one, and in the end, the doctoral dissertation was the doctoral title was not withdrawn. So, and this was his. Because his doctoral title was maintained by an official decision. Victor Ponta didn't resign at the moment, so he kept his public position. He also was prime minister for 3 more years until November 2015. I will tell you very briefly how the case ended up. In 2015, Victor Ponta resigned. After he resigned, that commission that was abolished in 2012 was re-empowered, was recreated, and was re-empowered to analyze doctoral plagiarism accusation and doctoral dissertations. And in 2016, his doctoral title was finally withdrawn for plagiarism. He sued the Minister of Education, but he never tried to, let's say, to protect himself from a plagiarism accusation in the front of the court. So he never said, I didn't plagiarize in my doctoral dissertation. He just tried to present in the court that the procedure of withdrawing his title was not a legal one. So he used a procedure. He didn't enter on the phone on the issue of plagiarism in his doctoral dissertation. And well, he permanently lost the case in 2020, and now his title is gone for good. But I choose to speak about his case because after this case, we learn a lot of things, how important is the political influence, and how important is a position of someone, a political position of someone, and how important is how important is to speak about academic integrity. And well, this was one of the cases we have, of very preeminent cases we have in Romania in the last years, but not the only one. I want to introduce you Gabriel Oprea, who was Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Internal Affairs in 2015. And he was probably one of the most powerful men in Romania. He also was professor at the National Intelligence Academy within Romanian Intelligence Service. And he also was a PhD supervisor at this institution, at this academy. And in 2015, he invented an academy. Well, of course, it was not the Romanian Academy, which is a very old institution, but this academy was an academy for just a second, I'm trying to translate from Romania, from Romanian, is the it was like a National Academy for Security Sciences. Well, I don't know if security sciences, if security is a science, first of all. But he was so powerful at that moment in Romania that he was able to found an academy which was financed by the Romanian state. So what happened? He became he granted his doctoral title in January 2001. He became professor at National College Defense in June 2001. After this, he transferred himself to the Police Academy in the same year. In the next year, he became PhD supervisor, and in 2007, he transferred to National Intelligence Academy. As you can see, he had a very diverse and let's say, if we are just looking on this information, it was a pretty strong career. And a very fast career. He obtained a very fast career in academia after he granted his doctoral title in 2001. Well, he had many political connections. He also had many political positions in Romania. He was the General of Military Justice. He became a General of Military Justice in the same year when he granted his doctoral title. After this, he was the prefect of Bucharest, also deputy and senator, starting with 2004. And he also was the Minister for Public Administration, Minister of Defense, Minister of Internal Affairs, and Deputy Prime Minister. And for a very, very short period of time, he was also interim Prime Minister in the summer of 2015. Well, this man also was inventor of science, well, two sciences basically, because he founded two doctoral domains which are unique in the world. nowhere in the whole world will now you'll not found the public order and national security as a doctoral domain or a science. And he also invented intelligence and national security as a doctoral domain in 2007. Well, in 2002, when he transferred himself to the Police Academy, he invented public order and national security. And in 2007, when he transferred himself to the National Intelligence Academy, he invented the second doctoral domain. Well, what happened with these two domains? He personally supervised 22 PhD students in these two domains and in these two doctoral, because also he founded, not just invented, he founded doctoral schools in Police Academy and in National Intelligence Academy. 9 doctoral students were supervised at the Police Academy and other 13 in National Intelligence Academy. Well, all of them were people with public positions, and they had some of them political positions, other ones had a position in a military system or in intelligence system or in police system. So pretty powerful person were his doctoral students. I will very briefly tell you about his students. One of them was deputy general prosecutor of Romania. Another one was deputy chief of the Romanian police Another one was the deputy chief of the Romanian intelligence service. One of them was former minister of defense, or one of them was acting minister of internal affairs. And two of them, two ladies, one of them was his niece and the other one was his secretary. And probably the case of his secretary was the most outrageous one, because he didn't help her to obtain a doctoral dissertation, a doctoral title based on a plagiarized dissertation, but he also helped her to obtain some decoration from the Romanian president. She received the most important decoration that a civil person can grant from the Romanian state, and this really was very, very outrageous when I exposed the case. Well, this story I wrote in 2017 after I started to expose and to present these plagiarism cases in some doctoral dissertation. The thesis of the deputy chief of the Romanian intelligence service just disappeared from the National Library. So this case, it was, of course, asked many questions, how a doctoral dissertation can disappear from the National Library. Well, it looks like it was an operation, an intelligence operation made just to extract the dissertation from the library. And I assume that you can do something like this just if you have a very strong interest, and that interest can be that you want to protect your image if your doctoral dissertation is plagiarized. Otherwise, you don't have any reason to organize such an operation to extract your doctoral dissertation from the National Library. Well, Gabriel Oprea plagiarized. This man, I just want to show him again. He plagiarized in his doctoral dissertation. I discovered this in the summer of 2015, when, as I told you, he was one of the most powerful men in Romania. I also, in that year, I exposed that 6 of his former doctoral students plagiarized as well in their thesis, in their dissertations. And after this, in the next year, the National Library cut the access to doctoral dissertation, and now it's very, very complicated to obtain an electronic copy of a doctoral dissertation at the National Library. So they are just trying to protect themselves, to protect their dissertation, not to be seen and not to be searched by a journalist or by someone else. What's happened after I present this, I expose this Oprea case in media? He resigned from the National Intelligence Academy, where he was professor and doctoral supervisor. The National Intelligence Academy started an internal reform, and they also started to verify all doctoral dissertations that were defended in that institution, and they reported for plagiarism 40 doctoral dissertation out of 85 at that moment. And 10 out of 22 doctoral students of Gabriel Oprea are in this moment, have in this moment their doctoral titles withdrawn, and the other 12 are verified by that national institution I mentioned earlier. Well, also, the doctoral title of Gabriel Oprea was withdrawn in 2016. He also sued the Minister of Education, and he lost the case in the first phase of the trial, and now he is on the Supreme Court, and we are expecting the final verdict next year. Well, in Romania, unfortunately, the terms in the court are very long, so it takes many, many years to have a final verdict in some kind of trials, in some specific trials. But we also have another outrageous case, a third case. This is the case of Police Academy, another military institution. I discovered that 2 of the rectors of this academy plagiarized in their doctoral dissertation. One of them resigned in 2019, and the other one last year. This year, sorry. Also, I discovered that deputy rector plagiarized in his doctoral dissertation. Also, 4 out of the 6 deans, they they also plagiarized, and more than 20 professors are suspected of plagiarism. Well, here, I think the Minister of Interior, which is, well, the Police Academy is subordinated to the Minister of Internal Affairs, and I think they understood the minister, the current minister understood that they need to start a kind of reform inside of Police Academy. I will go back a little bit later to this case, and I will tell you about the consequences of Police Academy case exposing plagiarism cases in Police Academy. In this moment, more than almost 75 doctoral dissertations defended during 2011 and 2016 are suspected of plagiarism, but they didn't start it. They will do in, I hope, in the very short time, to verify all doctoral dissertation in the same way that National Intelligence Academy did it. Also, Police Academy lost in last year the right to grant doctoral degrees, doctoral titles. So in this moment, they can't organize doctoral studies anymore. So their doctoral schools were abolished, and Police Academy entered in a process of reorganization in this moment. But it was a very long process to came in this point. And I will go back to this case. Is related with Police Academy. This man is a former Minister of Education in Victor Ponta's government, and he is the one who abolished the commission that was empowered to analyze Victor Ponta's doctoral dissertation. So this man tried to defend his doctoral dissertation at Police Academy. It was in 2018, I guess, yes. And I just discovered this from their the site of Police Academy, and I before the defending process, I went to their library, the Police Academy library. I asked to see him his doctoral dissertation. I stayed for 1 day, 8 hours, I think, in the library. I just read his dissertation, and I discovered that parts of his dissertation were plagiarized. In the next day, I went to his defending process, and I after the commission was met and decided to grant him the doctoral title, I just asked the commission if they are sure that the doctoral thesis is not plagiarized. I can tell you that I can tell you that in that moment they were very scared, and I told them that I can present the evidences. I just gave them the evidences. And in that moment, they decided to postpone everything, and they didn't granted the doctoral title in that session. And well, the picture is not from that session, is from I think from meeting in the parliament, in the Chamber of Deputies, because he also was a deputy in the Romanian parliament. Well, as you can see, many people, many very powerful people connected with people from, of course, related with politics, but also they are connected with people that have very high position in the Romanian state. And I mean people from the judicial system, people from intelligence system, people from army system, from police system, but also from other different public fields. And they are connected by power networks. They also are connected by personal networks and some other informal networks. And after I studied, I started to study this phenomenon of plagiarism in dissertation of some doctoral dissertation of some politicians and public people with public positions. I just understood that they are related, that they are connected by some networks, industry level, power networks, personal and informal. And I tried to give a definition to this plagiarism network, and I think that is the relationship between key actors involved, decision makers as politicians and institutions, execution factors in military universities, also procedure coordinators like PhD supervisors or even reviewers, because we have reviewers involved in the defending process of and in granting process of a doctoral title, and in of course the beneficiaries of doctoral titles, who are the doctoral students. And I also think these plagiarism networks are working for doctoral, for granting doctoral titles, but also for academic activity, because I discovered very well spread networks inside of Police Academy, inside of National Intelligence Academy, in National Military University, but also in civil universities, not just in military universities. Is very true that I focused my attention on these military universities because they were very hermetic. They were acting inside a non-transparent system, and it was probably it is more complicated to discover information about the process inside of this institution than it is in civil universities. But probably at the point I will finish with I will finish exposing cases in academic, in military academic field, and I will move myself with the attention and with research in civil area. the general state of affairs in this moment is that more than 50 Romanian officials are accused of plagiarism in their PhD dissertation, in their doctoral dissertations, and we have 2 prime minister, a vice prime minister, many ministers, members of parliament, members of academia. And one of the, not one, the recent case is the one of research minister who resigned last week. He was accused of plagiarism in his masteral degree, and but also he was accused of lying in his curriculum vitae. He just mentioned a book in his CVs that he didn't wrote it, and he also mentioned that he had a BA degree, but he never went to that faculty, to that college. And so after these 3 scandals, he resigned last week. And as you can see, imposture and academic fraud and academic corruption is very spread in Romanian academia, unfortunately. Some result of public exposure. At this moment, we have more than 120 plagiarism complaints. Also, 62 doctoral titles were withdrawn. 26 doctoral titles were maintained by that national commission that is empowered to verify plagiarism accusation, and other 34 are under review. But also, I have to tell you that the academic field reacted to all this public exposure of these cases. Tens of doctoral dissertations were rejected for poor quality. Tens of doctoral dissertations were postponed. We also have lower number of doctoral dissertation defended in the whole Romanian academia, so not just in that 3 military universities. And starting with 2018, we have mandatory academic integrity courses introduced in, unfortunately, just in masteral program, not also in BA programs, which I think is a problem, because is like you are thinking that the students are just coming and jumping in masteral program, and they are not passing through BA programs. So I think it's not normal. Well, it's very good that we have them, but maybe in the future, I don't know, another minister of education will consider necessary to introduce them in BA programs, studying programs. And of course, the system reacted to all this media exposure. And the legislation was changed in 2015. This was a Victor Ponta's case effect. the legislation was changed, and in this moment we have provision in the law, in the educational law, that is permitting to renounce to a doctoral title. So someone who have a doctoral title in this moment can just fill a letter addressed to the Minister of Education and to ask renouncing the retraction of the doctoral title. So without any kind of verification, or without any kind of searching of that of the thesis of the dissertation. We also have a permanent threat of plagiarism. Amnesty is very this thing is very present in the discourse, the public discourse of some people inside academia, and many people are just they just desire to have an amnesty of plagiarism, of course in doctoral dissertations. And also we have two very new decision of suspension of some plagiarism complaints in the court. So a prosecutor, a very influential prosecutor who was accused of plagiarism, he sued the Minister of Education, and he just asked to suspend the verification of his doctoral dissertation. Well, the judge, that judge that had the case, he also plagiarized his doctoral dissertation, and that judge just decided to suspend the verification of this accusation in the prosecutor's case. So it's very complicated in this moment to understand what is happening in Romania in this matter. And I have some conclusion, very brief. PhD is a morally and professionally trafficked title, because probably you understood from my presentation that some supervisors are just they didn't make their jobs, and they are not, basically they don't have any kind of relation with academic field. They don't understand their mission. They are more politicians than they are professors, and they are just trying to benefit from their position, and they are trafficking doctoral titles. Of course, it's a very strong complicity of the political class, who is trying to promote amnesty of plagiarism in doctoral dissertation, who introduced that provision that is permitting to renounce to a doctoral title, and many other provisions that are, let's say, pro-plagiarist provisions. And exposing politicians and exposing very influential and powerful people contribute to some changes in Romanian academia. And I gave you just some of the changes, and I consider that the best is the fact that we have that mandatory academic integrity classes in masteral programs, but I hope to have more in the future, and to extend the mandatory classes to BA program as well. Well, thank you very much, and I'm expecting to answer to your question. You can reach me at this contact. You have here my email, my personal email, and you can send me any question or any other thing you want to talk about, if we don't have time to do it in this session. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Emilia, for once again introducing the cases, your experiences as a whistleblower in Romania. I believe your cases will help a lot to our students in terms of understanding the importance of whistleblowers in academia. It is good to see that, okay, you experience, of course, quite a lot difficult times, challenging times. I know some incidents and some threats, but it is good to see that you are collecting the fruits. So you have something in your hand. They are no longer assigning, distributing PhD degrees, and they don't have such a school anymore. So it means that things can change despite difficulties, and it is a very good example to see that how powerful people are when they come together. Okay, we are talking about from the very beginning of the semester, we are talking about the activities of European Network for Academic Integrity. It's a network, but today you mentioned another network for plagiarism this time. So people come together, they set up a network in order to help each other for better chances of academic misconduct. So it is really important to see them and how to make them less effective by benefiting from our rights. So it's quite good. I took some notes while I was listening to you, and indeed I'd like to direct some questions to the students here relating to your speech, if you don't mind, if you have time, please.
Sure.
The first thing, we see that people might have different motivations to pursue a PhD degree. And we have PhD students here who are pursuing their degrees. Now, I'd like to learn about their motivational factors to do this. So it is 7:30 p.m. in Turkey, and we have students here. They are already working as EFL instructors at universities or teachers. So it means that they taught during the day. Now they are with us here, so it must be tiring for them. And it is really important for me to learn their motivational factors to do this. Yes, please. How would you describe your motivation, and what do we understand from the cases illustrated in Romania, and what were their motivational factor, main motivation to have a PhD degree, and what about yours?
John, may I?
Yes, please.
I think in Romania, their main motivation may be getting a title or getting some power in their positions. My motivation is just to develop myself because I have completed my master degree nearly 10 years ago, and I want to remember my how can I say? I want to remember the things that I have learned in master's degree and BA as well. I just want to develop myself, and how can I be more helpful for my students or for my career. And as a result of this doctorate degree, I think that I won't have any change in my career, or I won't change my title because I am an instructor, and I won't get any power maybe as a result of this. This is just for myself, but in Romania the case is different because mainly the politicians or the powerful people make this, so they got some benefits as a result of this plagiarism. This is my motive.
Thank you, Esin. Let me clarify one point here, because you repeat it twice, and I believe it's a sensitive topic and we need to clarify it here. You refer to Romania, but we are speaking about the cases that Emilia mentioned here. So we are not generalizing it to any academia, but we are indeed talking about the cases that Emilia illustrated here, because I believe the cases, the motivational factors of PhD students at Romanian institutions, they are quite different from the cases illustrated by Emilia. Am I right, Emilia?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to tell you a bit about the motivation, some benefits that people can have here if they are in public position. And yes, it's very true that some of them probably they just want to have intellectual an intellectual confirmation. So they just want to have a title to confirm their intellectual performances. But other people just want to have a doctoral dissertation in order to obtain some benefits. So the Romanian state started to give a small, well, it was not a small, it was 15% from salary. It was an increasing of 15% if you were working for the state and you had a doctoral dissertation. So it was a clear financial benefit. In other cases, for military, if they were colonels in the army or chief commissioners in the police, they could become generals in the army or castors in the police without an exam. And here, the exams of the exam for going to the highest position of general or castor is a very complicated one. And some people just wanted, they decided that it's more easier to have, to obtain a doctoral degree than to pass that exam to become a general or a castor. And also, the law in Romania is permitting to become a lawyer without an exam if you have a doctoral degree. Victor Ponta, our former prime minister, became a lawyer without an exam, just because based on his doctoral degree. So we had some very clear benefits. Of course, people in politics, I don't think that they just let's say, hunted this kind of benefits. They just wanted to have these titles in order to show to the people that they are very qualified in some fields. So I think it's very honorable to have a PhD in politics, or to have a PhD in, I don't know, military sciences, or to have a PhD in, I don't know, any other field. So probably it's very prestigious. But that if we are looking, well, for me it was very simple to discover some cases of politicians, because I just look on their curriculum vitae, and if some of them were having a public position, very demanding public position during their doctoral studies, I assume that it was a problem. When did you have time to make your research for doctoral dissertation if you were a prosecutor or a judge or a colonel, or you were a deputy, or you were a senator or you were a minister in the Romanian government? So you had a very, very demanding job and very time consuming. So when did you have time? And my assumption was a very correct one in most of cases. So I just look on their curriculum vitae. I just went to the library when it was possible to do this. Just asked for the doctoral dissertation and start to search after plagiarism evidences. And I find in some cases I found them very, very easy, very, very easy.
So it wasn't that a challenging task for you to reveal that they plagiarize. So it is quite true that a PhD program is quite demanding. You need to spend a lot of time. It's an investment. You are investing your time here to get the degree. And if you are in a higher position, it means that both your higher rank and PhD, they cannot go hand in hand. So it's a problem.
Yes.
Other question relating to your talk. Now, I'd like to ask our students, why do we publish? Okay. Suppose, for example, I am publishing an article in a journal. Why do I do this?
To contribute to the literature.
So what happens when I contribute to the literature, or what do you understand from contributing to the literature?
Okay, so you take a step into a topic in order to reveal some findings in your context. And it means that you also ask the academia to do the same, or relate this into their context, or replicate it for more generalizability. And so that's the aim. But the secondary aim is also a point, adding a point, kind of professional point to your repertoire to get a higher rank or status in terms of academy. Like, for example, if you get enough points, you can move to an assistant professor, associate professor, all the ranks.
Okay, thank you for the clarification. So contributing to the literature means that we need to make our research visible. We need to disseminate our research. Okay, hey, the other people, I did this and here are my findings. So what do you need to do? You need to see my findings and take it to a further step. Okay, this is my step. So you need to take it to another level. And someone else will take it to one step further so that we can progress. Otherwise, Suppose, for example, you were the first human being on Earth. How much time would you need to invent computer, for example? So your life wouldn't be enough to do this. It means that, what do we learn from here? It means that we need to learn from each other. We need to benefit from the experiences, findings of earlier people. This is also valid in academia. If we do not have access to earlier studies, it means that they mean nothing. But what do we see in the presentation? We learned that some of the theses disappeared from the National Library. What does it mean? Hey, suppose, for example, you will be spending 3 years or 4 years to write your PhD thesis. You will spend 4 years and the other people will not have access to your thesis. They won't learn from your thesis. So why do you write your thesis? It doesn't make sense. This is a very important point. We need to make our research visible, and once we make them visible, Emilia, I believe it will encourage people, encourage authors to become more careful about what they are writing. Hey, suppose, for example, if you visit my webpage, you will see any of my publications, if there are no restrictions by the copyright, available, freely available there. If we encourage such actions, it means that people will become more careful when they are writing their paper. Hey, the other people will be reading it, and if I make a mistake, it will be my shame there. This is an important point.
Well, I want to tell you that I couldn't imagine when I started to write about plagiarism in PhD thesis that I will discover that we can speak about a phenomenon related with plagiarism in Romanian academia. And you said the thing that it's very important to publish. Well, this was another, let's say, evidence for me that is something problematic with a doctoral dissertation. When I just look on the curriculum vitae of someone who didn't publish before the PhD, before the defending, or after. So if you have just a doctoral dissertation, but you didn't publish anything, research, an article, a book chapter, or something like this before or after you finished your dissertation, then is a problem. What kind of researcher you are? And I just this was the second thing that I looked on when I went to search for someone. And well, as I told you, I never imagined that I will discover that we have a whole phenomenon. Just imagine that 50% of the doctoral dissertation from a university are plagiarized, and that university recognized that they were plagiarized, and that university filed complaints against that doctoral dissertation to our national center, who is empowered to research this kind of complaints in doctoral dissertation. So, well, I think, yes, we make some progresses, and some people came to me in last years and told me that because of me, they were very, very careful when they wrote their dissertation. It's very true, this. And I think that just people are aware in this moment that you have to be very careful when you are writing your dissertation. And I think many people are discouraged to just start a doctoral program, because they are thinking that it's not so easy to finish a PhD program and to write a dissertation, because they are just seeing what is the cases. As I told you, the last one was finished last week with the resignation of the Minister of Research, and 20 days after he was appointed. So it's very, now people are, and even other journalists are encouraged to find this kind of subjects. And I think we can change. Of course, will not be let's say a short-term process. Probably will take a longer term to make changes. And I'm thinking that probably the most difficult part of this changing process will be to change our mentalities, because many students are young students who are enrolling themselves in BA programs. They are coming from high school or elementary school or even secondary school with the mentality that they can took materials from other authors without citing, because no one is telling them that it's not normal to do this. You have to quote, you have to mention, to attribute that the fact that that part that let's say that text is what was signed by someone, and is very normal to cite this and to quote this, to mention the author. So probably this will be the most difficult part.
This is true, Emilia. I mean, in many countries, including my own country and yours as well, students at K-12 level, they are not introduced with academic integrity, how to promote academic integrity and prevent academic misconduct such as plagiarism. What they do is they are given assignments, and they just search on the internet, find related information, copy it, paste it, submit the assignment, and they pass their courses. So they learn that, oh, this is what it should be like. So when they come to the university, then probably for the very first time, they will learn that, oh, this is plagiarism. So it means that considering our pedagogical approaches, we are not doing it in a right manner. So indeed, here you said that PhD degrees assigned by Ministry of Education in Romania. And here, for example, it seems that ministry is controlling from primary school to PhD. So they need to take it into consideration, and we should have some familiarization activities at K-12 level. So this is a very important point as well. Another thing, in this course, several times we talk about the implication and the importance of pedagogical approach in the promotion of academic integrity. And here in your presentation, you mentioned mandatory academic integrity courses at postgraduate level. Now, I'd like to learn about the experience of my students, for example. They are PhD students. Indeed, they are studying at the Department of English Language Teaching. Indeed, they are English language trainers, and they are enrolled in academic integrity policy course. So maybe if we learn about their experiences, maybe we can relate their experiences, whether the course is contributing to their academic life, academic achievements, or whether it is changing anything with regards to their understanding of academic integrity. So we can learn about their experience here, if you like.
Hocam, actually, I couldn't agree more on Emilia's topic on academic integrity integration into BA level, because now I'm teaching, as in BA level, actually in prep school, and they have absolutely no idea about citing, making quotations. So they think it is just normal to copy and paste anything. So if we want to promote academic integrity in higher education, actually, as you mentioned, we need to start in secondary education. But if it is missing in secondary education, we need to start in the very beginning of BA level, before they become students of master's degree or PhD degrees, because some students even do not want to fulfill their MA or PhD. So what if they don't want to have an postgraduate or graduate degree? Maybe they're going to be just undergraduate students, so they won't have any idea about academic integrity. So it is not actually about just academic writing. It's all about ethics, not just academic integrity, but all of these are interrelated. So it must have a place in the BA or in the very beginning of higher education, I think.
What do you think about postgraduate level? I mean, when we talk about PhD students or master's students, for example, shall we, as faculty members, take it for granted that, okay, these are postgraduate students, so they should be knowledgeable about academic integrity, and they should know how to avoid academic misconduct?
Actually, I'm speaking so comfortable now because that it has been there has been many weeks that I'm taking your course, so I suppose just everybody knows the same things as me. But no, of course, no. Even before I'm taking this course, I'm not as knowledgeable as I am now in terms of academic integrity. So yes, it should be in MA or PhD or postgraduate degree as well. So we cannot assume that, okay, the level brings academic integrity knowledge together. There needs to be some courses or seminars or anything to promote academic integrity.
Probably, especially when we talk about the discrimination between accidental academic misconduct and deliberate one. It seems that especially for the prevention of accidental plagiarism, let's say, for example, this should help. Such courses, by familiarizing, by promoting academic integrity, may prevent accidental academic misconduct. However, if there are any other organizations, illegal organizations, networks, bringing some other individuals together for the promotion of academic misconduct, of course, such courses may not mean a lot, because it requires changing their perceptions, and if we cannot change the perceptions, and this time we may need to refer to sanctions. So as you did very successfully, Emilia, in Romania.
I guess if we don't raise their awareness regardless of their level, status, grade, whatever. And they may think that they are allowed to, or they have kind of, you know, right to do it because it's not explained or made explicit directly to them. They may think like that. Who knows? If they want to think, we cannot, you know, cope with that intention. It's like I always make think like this. So you know, our national university entrance exam and the things, when you receive, when the students, exam takers receive the booklets, there are 2-3 pages long, some instructions, some rules, and some procedures that should be applied during the exam, and the students are supposed to read them and obey them and apply them throughout the exam. But we never make them explicit by reading out. We just ask students that you need to do this, 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 and you can have a look at the procedures, and we just think that they understand it. So I guess if we don't make it obvious to them, or we don't direct their conscious attention to it, we cannot guarantee.
Maybe we need to discriminate declarative knowledge from procedural knowledge here. I mean, you are just showing the policy to the students during that should be followed during the exam. Okay, when they read it, when they comprehend it, okay, this is declarative knowledge. But what about the application of this knowledge during the exam procedure? So this is important. That's why we need such courses, because we are not only showing you the definitions. Okay, before Emilia's presentation, for example, I provided you with some definitions. This is declarative knowledge. You can read it yourself, but later Emilia came here and presented some real life examples, so broaden our understanding of the topic, and then we later have a discussion related to this. So what do we try to do? Indeed, we try to transform this declarative knowledge to procedural knowledge, so that you can apply this information when necessary. So this is an important point. Any other contribution?
And it's actually the responsibility component of academic integrity. So if we are aware of our responsibility and our parts within the community, then we can share it with the others when it's necessary and when it's applicable, when there are some opportunities.
Exactly.
I just want to tell you a short story. When I had when we introduced these mandatory classes of academic integrity in my faculty, in the first course, I just asked the students to fill on a piece of paper what they understand through academic integrity, because it was the first year when we had the course, and it was at that moment I was very sure that what our students understand through academic integrity, and I just want to understand what is their level. Of course, there are students in journalism and communication sciences, and of course they are exposed to information about plagiarism. Many of them put plagiarism in the first place, but I also was very, very surprised to see that they filled on their papers many other things, and also they didn't. I was expecting to find that they will relate just to their behavior, but I was very surprised that they also expressed, they also find some behaviors related with administrative staff, not just with professors or professors' behaviors, but also administrative staff. And it was a very interesting experience for me. And maybe it's important to make this to transform my little experiment to a research, because I think it's very important to understand what our students understand when they are starting a course like this, to understand what they understand through academic integrity and how they are making relation with academic integrity. Probably will help us to find more if we will make a research like this.
Yeah, you're right. So you can identify roles of stakeholders, every stakeholder in the promotion of academic integrity. Okay, as a teacher, for example,
Yes.
what do I need to do? What is my responsibility? I am delivering the assignment, and
Exactly.
as the teacher, I need to provide feedback. Okay,
Exactly.
you are the student. What is your responsibility? Okay, you are working on your paper. It means that when you refer to the other sources, borrow information from the other sources, you need to cite. Okay, this is your responsibility. And when it comes to administrative stuff, for example, let's say, okay, we are sending our students to the library to find related sources. But when they go there, let's say, for example, there are no related books. So from the administrative perspective, they need to extend the sources, the number of sources in the library. So it is also promoting academic integrity. So when we think about the possibilities, we will be surprised that there are many issues that may not seem to be related to each other at the beginning, but indeed they are related. They are interwoven.
Yes. And also one of the most frequent answer was the subjective evaluation of a professor on an assignment. And well, it was a very interesting experience for me to see how they are what they are understanding through academic integrity.
Indeed, we talk about 6 fundamental values of academic integrity, and in addition to them, transparency and consistency, they are also quite important values to promote academic integrity, especially when it comes to teachers scoring assignments. Okay, we need to score consistently, and it should be transparent. I mean, students should know why they are getting this score, or they should see why the others are getting higher scores or lower scores. So transparency and consistency, these are other important issues. And it is, your examples are quite good in terms of showing the importance of how different stakeholders are contributing each other on the promotion of academic integrity.
Yes.
Okay, I'd like to thank you once again, Emilia, for joining us today here with this session. We really appreciate your time and your effort for doing this. I believe we learned quite a lot from your efforts, and hope we can promote academic integrity all over the world and in our countries and at our institutions as well.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure to be here with you. And once again, I'm very sorry that I missed the first part of the course, because I really messed up with the hour, and I was completely sure that we are on the same hour.
No worries, no worries. It's okay.
Thank you so much.
A good K, please. By the way, we wish you a Merry Christmas if you are celebrating, and a
Thank
Happy
you.
New Year. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye bye. Thank you so much. Bye bye.